Well, here comes the second half of our Leviathan episode. Thank you very much for tuning back in, and we'll just get you straight into the action. Enjoy.
So, obviously, most of the time, what we do is we send out our own teams. You know, we get our own boats, we go out, and we move into the area. But it's a lot of resources to send out when we're not 100% certain what's going on. Not to mention, as I've already said, sometimes we are trying to just keep people out of the way and keep people safe.
Yeah.
We don't want others to interact. We want to get any boats, any ships, anything out of the area so that they do not interact with the Leviathan. So one of the last times I was out, I actually got assigned. Me and my team got assigned as security for a research vessel in the middle of, kind of in the middle of the Atlantic itself. The cover was that we were there. There were pirates in the area, that kind of thing. There weren't pirates. It's right in the middle of the Atlantic. But we managed to persuade people and get everyone home safe.
Sure.
Where in actual fact, we were essentially there to censor everyone's views of things like Leviathan and track it ourselves. So if they were going to be in the area of the Leviathan, me and my team were going to be on their boat, and we were not going to let anyone see the Leviathan. We were going to protect them from it under the guise, we suspect there are pirates in the area. We've been given information from headquarters. You guys need to get under into the bows of the boat and the ship so that you are not in any way, shape, or form in danger, and we can protect you.
I'm just imagining some poor researcher looking out into the water, and you notice the Leviathan is moving there, and you just grab him by the shoulder and say, "Look, it's pirates! Get down!"
I mean, you are not far wrong from what I have quite literally done at one point, because obviously being security, earpieces so that we can all talk to each other and that we're all connected by radio. What the people don't know is that earpiece is also connected to headquarters of the CCI. And at one point I quite literally was just talking with a researcher, and they see someone in the CCI, and it turned out they were just playing a prank and being rather annoying, if I'm perfectly honest, turned around and said, "It's there, we think it's surfacing." And I quite literally had to grab them by the jumpsuit, throw them towards the steps and just say, "Get down there, get into the hold, get your heads down, and don't come out until we say so." We've got code words, etc.
That's just evil.
Yeah, it was, especially seeing as we literally had to then fire off a few rounds because we were armed. Yeah. We were properly armed. Firearms and everything. I mean, literally the firearms were there as, part of the cover. Again, no firearms, especially no weapons we're going to be holding ourselves are going to do anything.
Yeah.
So, very simply, they're just there for show. But again, we have to fire off a few rounds to make them think that we scared someone off.
Get gone, you darn pirates!
Yeah, it's not far off on that. But so on this same trip, essentially, we had one situation where we thought we were in the area of the Leviathan itself. But again, this was a research vessel, so we couldn't follow the Leviathan ourselves. We had a completely different team somewhere else following the Leviathan, but they had lost it. We, on the ship, on the research vessel, were there only for the purposes of making sure everyone was safe and basically being able to make the call to say, no, we are returning to land, or at least we are heading out of this area, this region. It is too unsafe, too many pirates. That kind of thing was our kind of choice. So yeah, at the same time, the CCI had actually lost connection to satellite imagery and information.
Oh, good.
We were basically piggybacking off a couple US and UK satellites.
Yeah.
Maybe even a few from the European Space Agency. Essentially, we were just piggybacking off satellites left, right, and centre. And the connection had gone down. No idea why. Except I have a few thoughts why, but that's something else to go down at some other point.
It's a space Leviathan.
Not quite, but I have a couple of theories myself. The research guys think I'm a little bit crazy, but at the same time, they haven't been out on the boat near this damn thing.
You gotta tell me about that later.
I will. Don't worry. But yeah, the creature appeared. Well, we didn't really know where it was. We just thought it was in this region.
Mm-hmm.
When we say region, we're talking like 20 miles. Big area. Not just, right underneath us, that kind of thing. Except when I was just chatting with one of my, with one of the wardens who were with me, she noticed something a little bit odd about the sea. She's also the one who noticed things about, who helped me find the clam last time, the magic clam.
Okay. Yeah.
The Shen. So she's very good at noticing things in the water. Yeah, she seems to. What she noticed was that the colours under us in the water were changing, like as if a shadow was moving.
Ooh. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, that is the moment where I needed to go change my trousers.
Of course.
And yeah, I watched for about a minute or so, and I concluded with it that it seems like something is going on here. Problem is, we also had really, really, really good visibility that day. Like, we could see for a very, very long distance. So, whereas normally it can be the visibility be a bit clouded, or at least in one direction be a bit clouded, and we can turn around and shout, "Look, pirates! Everyone get in the hold." Today was going to be a real difficult job to persuade people to get their heads down.
It's invisible pirates.
Well, basically, yeah. So, there are 4 of the team on the boat.
Yeah.
I get 2 of them to kind of like start suggesting to some of the research teams and some of the crew of the ship, maybe you want to get into the hold. We've heard a few things, but it's the captain that was going to be a bit obstinate, mostly because we have called pirates quite a lot.
Everyone knows the story about the boy who cried pirates.
Basically, yeah. When we commit to to like undercover, we commit hard to the point where we actually literally had a contract, and apparently one of the solicitors appeared to be a businessman, and said every single time, had to basically put in a clause that every single time we had to call pirates and people went down to the hold, we got a bonus. So the captain of the ship started to assume we were just calling it for the fact that we got a bonus.
Oh no. Who put that clause in there?
Klaus.
Screw Klaus.
Yep, screw Klaus. But it degraded our... Warden Klaus. It degraded the trust between us and the captain, and I quite literally had to stand with him and argue with him for a good 5 minutes that he needed to drop anchor and get in the hold. And if he didn't, he was going to put all of us in danger. He was going to put the entire team in danger, his ship in danger. Everybody would be in danger.
Okay, I'm with you except for the anchor. Do you want to drop down an anchor on the Leviathan?
Well, I mean, again, it's probably not going to notice it, if I'm perfectly honest, but I was also getting quite stressed at this point. Later on, I did sit there and think, yeah, the anchor was a real stupid move. But I'm not going to lie, I am not a... I'm pretty damn good under pressure most of the time, but this is a different kind of pressure. When it's not just my life, it's the life of the team, it's the life of the researchers, it's the life of the people who sail this ship. And there is, like I say, pretty much everything that I've encountered as a warden with the CCI, we can do something.
Yeah.
You know? The Leshens, I could get them out of the area. The hide behind, I could, encourage it and start pushing it out of the region.
Yeah.
The things like the Nuclevi from my very first one, I could push it back into the sea.
Yeah.
This, I can't do anything.
It's true. To be honest, I'm not even sure why the handbook is so big, because what are you gonna do?
A lot of it is basically just saying, don't be stupid. Don't attract attention.
Oh.
Don't do this to attract attention. And to be fair, as you've said it now, I do remember one of them is don't drop an anchor on it.
Well, it seems I don't have to read it anymore.
I personally do suggest reading it anyway, because there's a
will.
lot of good information on how to identify where it is.
Okay.
But yeah, so I basically was arguing with the ship's captain for a good 5 minutes, and that is kind of the moment I thought I finally persuaded the captain to get down into the hold. He was just about to drop the anchor, and that is when there appeared to be what looked like essentially a landmass appearing out of the water.
Oof.
Not half a mile off one of the sides of the boat. I don't know my port and starboard, but
It's a...
essentially just what looked like a landmass appeared.
Oh man, sounds scary. Also, how do you sell that?
It really was.
Oh no, it's a pirate island.
Well, the one thing I can say is the captain is now a member of the CCI.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, that's one way to recruit people, I guess.
Yeah, that was pretty much all that the higher-ups decided we could probably do, just recruit them and get them. Essentially, they'd been forced into the fold whether they wanted to be in or not, so all we could do is give them the information and see if they're interested in taking on a role. And luckily it turned out that they were. But yeah, just this entire land, like this head, essentially, just pulled out of the surface of the water. And I can't even I'm not even sure, like the scales are just not, I can't put anything to scale. I mean, it's hard to scale anything in your head in the middle of the sea anyway.
Yeah.
You are surrounded by the ship and water, but I just couldn't work out. It just went up and up and up into the sky.
Oh jeez.
And this head turned, looked left, looked right, just swinging around. I'm not even sure if it noticed we were there. And actually, the research vessel was not a small one. Like, we are talking ship, not boat.
Yeah, I mean, be happy that it didn't notice you. Might have ended up a snack.
Yeah. That's all I can assume. But yeah, as I say, it's one of those things where I was just looking at it, just going, this is incredible, terrifying. I wouldn't even say awe-inspiring, because it didn't inspire me to anything other than I need to get some new trousers again. It's basically it.
Twice in one day.
And yeah, trust me, it's terrifying. Again, this is the closest I have ever been, and I don't know if there's any wardens who have ever been any much closer. We try not to be this close. We tend to try and want to be in more binocular range. That kind of thing. Whereas this one, we're talking half a mile away, probably. So
yeah, honestly, I'm not looking forward to this assignment.
But yeah, so it just kind of was there, just rotated. When it obviously turned its head towards the ship, again, it was looking over us. When it turned over, literally floods of water dripping off of it onto the ship, onto the deck.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that we were dealing with here. And I can tell you, I don't know if it breathes fire. We've not seen it breathe fire, but it was damn warm. The temperature definitely rose in the area.
Oh, well, that's a good sign, I guess.
And that's obviously the moment as well that I noticed that I couldn't hear anybody in my earpiece. Not even anyone on the ship,
Okay.
not anyone from CCI, nothing.
Okay, so did it disrupt the signal somehow, or what's your take?
Well, that's the thing. That's where some of my theories have come through. I think something to do. I don't know if it's the electromagnetic energy that comes off its body because of its nervous system. Because I can only imagine the nervous system inside that damn thing. I can only assume that the nerves themselves, like the dendrites or even like the nerve endings themselves, must be as thick as a human body, like that in that kind of size of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that, again, there are just some things in this world that are so big they physically disrupt signals and interfere with everything.
Okay, that's wild. Yeah, you're not really doing a good job at making me more enthusiastic about being assigned to this.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, it's terrifying, but it's also so amazing. That is a defining moment in my life, that situation.
Well, I believe that.
Because that thing hung around for about 2 or 3 minutes and then just dived back under the water. Left a hell of a wave and just went. And about 15 minutes later, I got contact with the CCI.
15 minutes, wow. Yeah, there's...
Finally got them and obviously reported its location.
There's got to be some electromagnetic nonsense going on.
Yeah, but the research guys think I'm just talking rubbish.
I mean, you probably are not the first one who lost contact when they're close to this thing, so maybe they should be looking into this.
Maybe one of them can get out of the bloody lab and come in.
Yeah, true. I mean, best case, we could use these properties to track it somehow without, sending a boat after them. After it.
Yeah, if we can't find if there seems to be a massive dead spot, maybe that's where it is.
Yeah,
but again,
like
it only seems to come to the surface for a while and then tends to go back down. But the problem that we have is it's coming to the surface more often lately.
Okay, that's not what I'd like to hear. Do we have any idea why that is?
No idea. We just can't communicate with it. I personally think that it might have something to do with us exploring deeper into the sea.
Oh, yeah.
And there have been talks about deep sea mining and things like that. I wonder if we're stepping on its territory myself.
Okay, so I think it's basically getting curious about the weird little creatures diving into the ocean and disturbing things.
I'm hoping it's getting curious and not just getting tired of us.
Well, I'm trying to be optimistic.
Well, I'm probably slightly exaggerating in the sense of the idea that it can just annihilate nations. But again, we are talking about a creature that, if you go by the myth, it is essentially the equivalent of a deity. Like, the idea is, one of the things that I found in my research of the myth around the Leviathan, is that it can quite literally hassle and cause problems for God, something that Lucifer, the literal devil, doesn't even have the power to do.
Yep, that sounds pretty bad.
Yep. Again, I'm not a religious person, but something that has a reputation like that, I'm going to say it may not be able to just annihilate entire nations, but I'm pretty certain it can cripple from the ocean various locations it would like to.
Has there actually been any attacks that we know of in the past?
No.
I'm just wondering.
This is the other thing.
Okay.
This is the other weird thing about it. It's never, ever, ever actively gone to hurt humanity. It seems to just want to be the wardens of the sea.
Okay. Well, I hope it stays that way. Otherwise, I guess we'll have to figure out how far inland you have to be safe from that thing. if that is even enough.
Yeah. Again, it's so weird. I mean, the best way you can describe it is it's neutral. It is just neutral. It doesn't
Okay.
care for us. It doesn't hate us, but it doesn't want to protect us. It's just there.
Okay.
And yeah, the only other weird thing, and the only kind of interaction it seems to have ever had with humans, is that there is talk of its eyes basically being like beacons of sunlight.
Okay.
So people have talked of again, if you go back to like very, very old not sea shanties, that's not the word I'm looking for. Travelers at sea, ships captains, explorers, when they have said that they have interacted with the Leviathan, or they've seen the Leviathan, some of the accounts have been just these twin orbs of light lighting up the entire area, and there's nothing else to say about it. It just lights up the area.
Okay.
And people can see by them. No one's ever really been able to work out distance, because again, it's just so disorientating.
Yeah. Probably is not this bright all the time, is it?
Oh, no, because I mean, when I saw it, it was the middle of the day. Or when I saw it, it was the middle of the day. So it's a, the brilliant light from its eyes just wasn't there.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can really say is it's got big teeth.
Such big teeth.
Yeah, such big teeth. Funnily enough, though, and I feel the need I have to say this, it has been like the name Leviathan has been kind of given over to like things like the Kraken, or even like Moby Dick, or massive whales, or like megalodons and things like that. People have described them as Leviathans. They are not Leviathans. They will never be Leviathans.
Yeah.
They just do not compare to the Leviathan. And luckily, as far as we are aware, and I'm pretty confident in this, there is only a Leviathan.
I wouldn't know how there could be a whole population of that kind of creature, because they just run out of room at some point.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would see it. But that's the Leviathan. But that's my PSA about the Leviathan.
Terrifying.
But do you know where there is somewhere that doesn't run out of room?
Well, I am pretty sure that this place called the Discord is only matched in its place for people by the Infinite Hotel from this weird thought experiment. So if you need a place to take up as much space as you want, I'm not sure where this bit is going. Anyway, join the Discord. That's what I'm trying to say. We have a Discord that's linked in the description, and you can talk about creatures that we have talked about how Jack is laughing at me. You can request creatures for us to talk about, because between the two of us, we have encountered quite a lot of beings at this point, and we'd love to have you there.
Yes, and it would also be wonderful if you have enjoyed this, if you would click that follow, that subscribe, that rating button, the question button, especially if you're on Spotify. It asks as if we're going to ask you a question every single time, and frankly the question so far has, have you enjoyed this, or has this been good? I'm hoping it's a positive. But yeah, feed the algorithm, get more people involved. Feed it, make people join. This isn't a cult, I promise. You only have to give over 75% of your entire. Well, you only ever have to give up 75% of your entire wealth to us, but that's a good trade for the service that we're providing. And last but not least, don't go finding the Leviathan. It will end badly for you.
It definitely will. And you won't have cell phone reception for a live stream, so it's not worth it anyway.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you won't be able to take a photo. I don't think the viewfinder will be wide enough, but...
Yeah.
But yeah. Otherwise, I think there's only really one thing left to say. So thank you very much and goodbye.
Goodbye.